Hello and welcome to our fabulous listeners. I'm your host, Moira Geary, and this is your Positivity Project. For those of you that don't know me, I'm an author and speaker, and I have a personal development company. And I specialise in teaching people who are stressed, overwhelmed, procrastinating, and are driven by fear how to live more enriched, courageous, and calmer lives.
Well, Moira, I'm sure you hear it every day. Everybody is living such a hectic and busy life. No time for relaxation or anything else. And I suspect that must bring about a sense of feeling overwhelmed. Do you find your clients come to you with that problem?
Absolutely. Then that's a word that I hear an awful lot. And yeah, and it's a little bit like people wear the busy with like a badge of honor at the moment, because if you're not busy, it's almost like you're not achieving enough or whatever.
That's a real bugbear of mine. I have some good friends who say boastfully, I've had a great week, I've been so busy. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, when do you still the mind?
Yeah.
What do you tell?
Yeah, and I would absolutely agree with you, Bibi, and hence why I love being interviewed by you, because you calm me with your lovely voice and you bring me down and keep it nice and not slow, but just at a good pace. So,
Do you want me to shout and roar for a while? I could,
couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine it. No.
Thank you.
But yeah, to be honest, overwhelm is quite a big issue, and I suppose I would even define it as, because a lot of times to explain something to somebody can be enough for somebody to actually make a change without me needing to help them or support them on it. So I explain to people that overwhelm is a little bit like living from here up, so living from your neck up. So we're not connecting to our intuition or our gut or what's going on further down in our body.
Or our heart?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's probably a bigger area, because if you connect and live from your heart and from your gut, or at least use those with your head, then I believe that that's a very good balance. But when people turn up with overwhelm, basically what's going on is there's a lot of thinking going on. Not conscious thinking, but
Overthinking
thinking.
would
And
it be?
that's the thing,
Yeah.
overthinking.
Yeah.
But there's probably about 15 to 20 different subjects or categories going on in their head. So it's a little bit like, I need to collect the kids, I need to get ready for that meeting at work, I need, oh my goodness, did I put the dog out? Oh Lord, what about, that lodgement to the bank? Or there's so many thoughts going on in our head. And it's very much related to goals and what needs to happen next. And in that, what happens is that when there are that many thoughts going on at one time, you can't really focus on any one thing. So what happens then is that if people have all of this spinning going on in their head, they're actually almost like spinning as well. So I help clients with a little technique that I find is really beneficial for overwhelm.
Could you teach us that now?
I could show you what you can do if anybody is watching this and they're a little overwhelmed or a big bit overwhelmed. So I get them to first of all acknowledge that that's what's happening. It's a lot of thoughts that are swirling around in their heads, a little bit like a washing machine.
They say that we think about 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts per day.
That's right.
I'd like to know
Who counts them? I know.
But
There's
be
that.
true or false.
There is that, absolutely. And they also say that most people think the same ones every day. So that's another thing, people kind of ruminating in the same issues and the same problems. But in this overwhelm where there's a lot of subjects and a lot of categories, what I say to clients is it's almost like if you were the person that was overwhelmed, I say to you, just bring out all of the subjects and I want you to line them up over here for me. So the first thing I've done there is a little technique called dissociation. So when we dissociate somebody from something, the feeling that they're feeling about it has to reduce. Okay, so I've brought all your problems out here, or all your issues. And then even though they're still all jumbled, I ask people to categorize them. So it's almost like, and actually sometimes I get people to do this physically, to get A4 sheets of paper and give a heading for each subject. So they might have 5, they might have 10. Once they've that done, I get them to list. So what are the priorities in each section? So suddenly their head is getting a little bit organized. So then in relation to the priorities, what has been happening is in their heads, they believe that everything was a priority and nothing was getting organized or done. So when everything is out like that and it's written in order, then I say to them to stack them up and put them on a table and keep them out of their heads. Because once they're dissociated from them, they're feeling a lot less stressed, which means now they can actually take action to work on some of these. So again, we'll pick out the one that is a priority for now. So the subject, or sometimes two, because some people find it easy to manage 2 or 3 subjects at a time, and that's fine.
But not too many.
No,
because
not
that
too
would only feed into the overwhelming thing.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Even though everything's organized now, so you pick out your 1 or your 2 subjects and you start ticking off what needs to happen on each one in an order of priority. And people find that really helpful. Another thing I would say, which is very beneficial for anybody with sleep issues and they're taking stress to bed with them, is to do that exercise before they go to bed. Leave the sheets of paper downstairs, and I promise they'll be there in the morning.
You're speaking my language, Moira.
Yeah.
I do that.
Do you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little old exercise book, a normal
Yeah.
schoolgirl's thing, really. And I write down what is the problem, who can solve it,
Yes.
and when will that person be available to me to solve it.
Absolutely.
Let's say it's paying off the mortgage, then Mr. Smith, the bank manager,
Yes.
Monday morning, 9:30.
Yeah.
And then I leave that book
Yeah.
in the living room when I go to bed.
Absolutely.
So we're very similar in that way.
Absolutely. And a very important question to you, BB, does it work?
Oh, absolutely.
go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That's a great technique.
yeah.